sessions, I might just say.
I think you're
You're a legend.
very polished. You're very polished.
I don't know about
talking
polish.
to Julie about it this morning. How good you are at them. You should get a job on 60 Minutes or something, I reckon.
So here I am with two of my favourite people. Hello, guys. Mr. Sam Burke and Miss Julie Ballard. How are you?
Yeah, good.
So what have you been doing? You've had lots of meetings on today.
Yeah, Jules, you go first.
No, luckily I miss out on quite a lot of the meetings. I leave those to Sam. But the only problem is when he goes to meetings, out of that meeting is, Julie, quick, stop what you're doing. Can you do this?
Because often customers want things yesterday. So we have to be very agile, Vanessa, you know?
Yeah. But I was going to say, everyone kind of needs a Julie Ballard in their life, and then everyone needs a Sam Burke in their life. So it's why you guys work so well together, because you just balance each other so well.
Yeah. Look, I'll go first, but I've known Julie ever since I started at MLA when she used to run the show, and I just really enjoyed every Easter time getting the call up and doing those demonstrations. If you recall, that we used to do back with Adam and even yourself back in the day out at the show, Vanessa, and I you know, she's such an infectious person, such a professional, and such a lovely, warm-hearted lady that I knew when the time arose, I pounced, you know, and we didn't even have a position available at MLA at the time for Julie, and to this day, she is the only person that's been hired by Meat and Livestock Australia without having to go through HR. So that's a testament to Julie. It wasn't, you know, they took my word for it, and I'm happy to say it's probably the best investment the company's made in terms of people.
There you go, Jules.
That's pretty impressive, isn't it? Look, it's a great job. I'm blessed. I really am. We can thank the Royal Easter Show, the Theatre Kitchen, Peter and Mary Atkins for that. Lindy Milan, all those people that got me involved in that in the first place. And that's where I met Sam on stage, of which we had some very interesting times, like the time when his rump disappeared off the stage. I'd set everything up. I went out to check it and the rump had gone, and we had like 20 minutes.
I thought you were talking about Sam's rump.
No, the rump, the nice rump that was sitting on the board.
Hang on a second, Vanessa, you're just being nice. You know I haven't got an ass, right? It's a flat board. Anyway, back to you.
Yeah, so someone had borrowed that permanently, so I had to race up and buy another one. But yeah, no, and then from there I worked with Adam, and then from there with Sam. And other than that, I had freelanced all my life. And I think the last time I went for an interview was before my children were born. So
that's pretty impressive. And, you know, when Sam says that you're the first person to be employed and you haven't gone through HR, when you're talking about a corporate business, that's massive. Like, you're absolutely right. Like, normally the process for recruitment is quite intense. So kudos to you, Jules, for being able, you know, to get that job. The job was yours, you know.
Yeah.
They sent me on a test run to Perth.
Yeah. It was actually Andrew and I, believe it or not, Andrew Ballard and I had another assignment. No, it was actually Andrew was going over to Perth to do something with Unilever, because we do some work with a customer over there, Sodexo. And I had to be in Melbourne for something else that we were doing some work with your old employer, Top Cut, at the time when they were owned by Simplot. And I sent Julie over there to do a job, and I knew she'd be more than capable. And that was it. You know, the words came back that she was 10 out of 10, and I said, I'm not mucking around. When you see good people, you've got to take care of them, and the rest is history. I really mean that. You know, I couldn't do without Julie.
It's easy, don't you think? Or isn't it? You said before that you love your job, and, you know, it's a blessing to have the jobs that you have. but it's easy you are blessed because you love doing what you do.
Yes. So many people go to work every day and it's just a chore. They don't like what they do. I know my husband used to say to me, and I'd get up and crack at dawn and get ready and jump out, go to work, and he'd say, I'd love it if I could go to work every day as happy as you do.
Yeah. And I think that when you are working for an industry body such as what you guys are working for, you're working on behalf of producers, and there's so much there to be championing and to be proud of. And they're so passionate. It's their life. And it's really nice to be able to feed into that.
It's a serious investment that producers make. As you know, you've been in the meat industry for many years, Vanessa. A percentage of every animal that's processed goes to MLA, and our role is to market that across the world. And when you're standing in front of chefs, you get one chance, right? If you stuff that meal up, or if you overcook that beef, or if you present it not a fashionable way that works in their business, you really haven't got a chance to go back. So the pressure's on all the time, that when Julie and I are in front of customers, that we've got to research the cut, we've got to understand their business, we've got to understand the way that they cook the protein, their cost of goods, their skills capacity, and then reverse engineer a menu solution that's going to work with them. So that comes with years of experience, and we've got one of the best recipe writers in Julie on the team, and food economist as well. And then I come in with the commercial aspect for all my years in big food service establishments, and it just works, and I guess, and you know this too, when you get a run of success, you get more and more confident. Okay, I'm not saying that we know everything all the time, but we've got a pretty good understanding of what a QSR customer wants, what an FSR customer wants. Apologies about the abbreviations. Quick service restaurant, fast service restaurant, hotel,
general food service,
pub, HoReCa, right? And the thing is, we're doing everything from developing burgers with big QSRs to giving dignity back to people in aged care, making sure that they have nutritious meals. So, and then looking after people at 30,000 feet, where we need to increase sodium in meals so it's palatable for them to eat. So the diversity of it is just amazing, and what you learn is incredible, and has been a real aspect of what keeps Jules and I so inspired and happy about our job.
And isn't it a blessing to be able to get around and to be able to work with all of the chefs and to connect with just connect with the diversity within our industry, that, for a protein that you're out there and you're marketing and you're educating and you're creating awareness about. Isn't it wonderful to be able to do that and to be able to work across all of these different sectors?
It is fantastic. And it's when you do a masterclass and you see the joy on the people's faces, the chefs, the cooks that are there, and so excited about what we've shown them. And then all the questions they come up and ask, it's, I never imagined it'd be as good as what it is.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying, and I hear what you're saying. And, you're absolutely right, Sammy. Like when you talk about going into whatever sector of the industry it is, and they all have different needs and different wants, but at the end of the day, they all want to be able to make money and still be able to menu protein, red meat on their menu, and then being able to try to find that product that fits within that sector. I mean, how do you do that?
Well, it's a lot of listening. All right, so let me give you an example. We'll first reach out to a customer, and then we'll organise a meeting. And when we could travel, we'd go in and have a look at their kitchen, their staff, learn about the intricacies of their business, and then go away and then have a talk about what cuts are their supply chain, their wholesaler. For example, if you're dealing with a big, this in your top cut days, if you're dealing with a big commercial caterer, they've got 6 or 7 different butchers around the country. you've got to make sure that that cut is available at an economical price in every state. So, you know, once we got all those little bits of intricates and information, you know, we take that away, don't we, Julie? And then we plot it on a big whiteboard, and then we have a brainstorm, and then we come back with ideas that we think will work. And we've got a pretty good run rate, and it's about really listening, and which, you know, I'm a poor listener, I love to talk, but it's about really you know, getting inside their head and then coming back with something that we think that will work. And then if it doesn't work, it's being humble enough to take that on the chin and then go away again and come back and try again.
Yeah. Where's the best, outside of New South Wales or even within New South Wales, but let's not talk about Sydney per se, where's the most memorable place you've been to, and what was it that you were doing there?
Cracker question. Julie, I'll let you go first.
Gee, I'm thinking about it. I think the last 2 producer to plate series that we did will probably be my most memorable. One was at Canowindra, which I thought was Canawindra. But well, that's how you pronounce it if you spell it that way. But the locals inform me that's not the way you say it. And the other one was at Gloucester. And both of them were with 2 totally different producers. One was a very young producer, and one was a more senior producer, very different, but both equally fantastic. And just to be out on their farms and see how they work and what they go through, I think is probably the best bit of the job.
What about you, Sammy?
Look, I love traveling everywhere. I love going to the bush. Believe it or not, and Julie's been on with me on a few missions. We get more nervous presenting in front of the producers than what we do chefs.
Yeah.
They're paying our wage, right? So, look, if I want to be brutally honest, I love the international trips. Like to be able to go over to Brussels and cook for European Parliament, and to do some really high functions in Australia House in London. And, you know, I never forget I did a function in Beijing in 2016 at the West End Hotel. And, you know, Sammy Burke, when he travels in shorts and a T-shirt. And I rocked up and my luggage didn't come. So here I was in one of the top kitchens in Beijing in the West End, orchestrating a function with 30 chefs in a pair of shorts and a Ballard chef shirt. And I couldn't go out the front, you know. So it's stuff like that. It's just memories, you know. And Julie and I have done some great stuff. It's working with those producers. It's going regional. I love the regional trips. And then you know, there's just so much. I can't pick one, Vanessa.
Yeah.
Every trip, Vanessa, with Sam is an event and a total adventure, because you just never know what is going to happen. I mean, you could end up in the Qantas Club with Sam putting his meat in the bar fridge and asking the lady, and she's huffing and puffing and carrying on. Anyway, she goes away and she's off the side talking to her friend, saying, "Are you the guy? There's a guy over there, and he gave me his meat to put in the fridge, and like, you know, what do they think this is? I hope he's gone." And Sam goes, "Ooh, still here. Hi." So, you know, a little testing at times, but yeah, I've survived.
Yes. You'd have to put your mother hat on at times, I'd imagine.
Yes.
So tell me, Sammy, you've got a love of Nike shoes.
Yeah.
Any shoe.
Yeah. We're a bit of a Julie likes to call me the Imelda Marcos. Is that a name? The shoe
That's
lady?
the one. The Imelda Marcos of MLA.
Yeah. So no, I guess it goes back to my young days. You know, I lived in Ashfield, and you know, we lived a comfortable life. And you know, shameless plug, happy 50th wedding anniversary to Mum and Dad today.
Yes.
You know, who looked after us. But you wanted a pair of shoes, you had to bloody work for them. And I worked on a milk run, and I think I had one pair of Reebok pumps, and I treated them like gold and washed them with the Kiwi wash and, you know, all that kind of stuff back in the day. But I got to my age and I said, you know what? I think it was about 2013. I'm going to get the shoes I wanted. So all these retro comebacks that came back, these Jordans and pumps, I've got a bit of a collection, and it's just something I enjoy. I collect shoes, I collect barbecues. It's madness.
I was going to say, I think, you know, they had a competition on MLA as to how many barbecues Sam had. I wasn't allowed to enter, but I thought the better one would have been how many pairs of shoes has he got? Because in the garage, there's boxes of them.
Tell me, share your funny story, because I know that you have a bit of a tendency to like to order online as well. And this is not a Sam Rose Day. This is just, I just love this, and I just think it puts a bit of human element into here. But tell us the story about how you bought something online and you hid it under the bed.
Oh,
yeah. So a few years ago when the PlayStation 4 came out, I'm a big kid, right? Everyone knows that, who knows me well. So I just wanted this PlayStation 4, and I knew that, you know, we had school fees for the kids, and it was probably 15th of the list of importance that had to be purchased. So I got it from my good old Osbargain site. I think it was Harvey Norman, and it got delivered, and I smuggled it underneath the bed and left it there for about 2 to 3 months. And then my wife found it because I was traveling so much. I never had the chance to open it, right? So Father's Day came, and I was expecting the old bottle of Old Spice, you know, and whatever, you know, but it's cool water. And my kids were really young at the time, and they ran down the stairs and they go, Dad, happy Father's Day. And out comes the PlayStation 4. Right? And then my wife is standing behind them, waving her finger, you know, and I go, I've been caught out. Oh, that's nice.
Vanessa, the classic is when Jeannie says, when I first met Jeannie and she's telling me the story, and she says, I don't know what he doesn't think I do. Does he think I don't clean under the bed? Does he think I don't?
That's what she said to me. I think that's hilarious.
Does he think I don't look at the bank statements? Like, how does this work?
I think the worst time I got in trouble was when I brought the V8 home, Vanessa. That's another story. Anyway.
How did that happen?
Oh, look, same thing, mate. I've always wanted, you know me, I'm probably the biggest bogan out. You know, I love. This kind of goes back to when I was at school. So when I finished school, Mr. Brewer was right at Concord High. He said your HSC wouldn't be worth the cardboard it was written on. And I got 35 out of 100. And I went to work experience. The careers advisor sent me to work experience. And I did 2 places. I did 3. I did the Menzies as an apprentice, like as a work experience chef. Hyde Park Plaza, and the 3rd place I did was Muir's Holden at Ashfield. And my love was food, because I love food, and my second one was cars. And when Holden finally closed down, I just said, I need a bit of that history, because I had a Tirana when I was a kid, and I said, I'm going to grab one of these now because they're going to go up. So my mechanic was selling his, and I just said, bugger it, mate, I'm getting it. So anyway, I remember driving it home and driving it past Unilever, which was near my mechanic, and getting Andrew Ballard in it and taking him around. And he goes, you're dead when you take this home, you know. And I rocked up and I roared up the driveway, and she came out, and I think we didn't talk for a month. But now that it's appreciated now, double the price now that Holden's shut, and I wrap it in a car cover, and it's just, I don't smoke, I don't drink. I get in that car and I feel like I'm 20 again. And sometimes you just need that. You know what I mean? You need something to, you know, I'm a big nostalgic person, retro, put on the shoes, put on the car, you know, you get in the car, and I turn that ignition on and I just feel like I'm 18. And I guess that's what keeps me young at heart.
I love that. I think that's brilliant. What's your advice, Jules? What keeps you young and vibrant?
Chardonnay and food.
So what is your favorite, what's your favorite dish? What do you love to cook?
Look, I cook everything, but I have had a lot of inspiration off Sammy's wife. And
Isn't she amazing?
Oh, she's just stunning. And her
Jeannie
food
is like,
I love her. I love being there. We used to shoot there as well. And then that'd be fun. She'd say, the doorbell would go, and she'd say, oh, Julie, that'll be another parcel for Sam. You want to bet? Go and have a look. Sure enough, another parcel for Sam. Next day, doorbell goes, you might as well go and get it, Jules. It'll be another parcel for Sam. I love it. But her food is just amazing. And you shoot there or work there and you get in the morning and, oh, do you want breakfast? I said, oh, no, don't worry. No, we're having a wild breakfast. Come and have some. And you just sit down to this breakfast, which is just, it was
breakfast of champions.
Yeah, but it was fried eggs and za'atar and olives and, it was just stunning. I mean, everything she cooks is just beautiful.
Thank you, Julie.
I couldn't live there because I'd be about 5 times bigger than what I am.
Well, there's a reason why I'm 120 kilos.
No, but I was going to say that's the reason why you exercise so much.
Yeah.
I guess. No,
how is your exercise going anyway? You been out on your bike much?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because exercise is the way I distress. So I guess I've been training since 95 at the gym, somewhat or another, and I just find that brings me a sense of, I'm full of energy. It kind of tames me down, and I like fresh air. I like getting out and doing stuff, and I whack the headphones in, and I often I'll call Julie, I'll call yourself, Vanessa, I'll call Adam Moore, and I'll go and I'm running, and probably people can hear me yelling throughout the streets, talking to people as I'm running, and I'm not the fastest, but I get it done. I run 3Ks every night. I do a 36-minute HIIT session in the garage, and during lockdown I've been doing a 5K bike ride each way. Just to keep.
Do you want to share your little story about that?
Yeah. Like I was last Friday, I was going for a bike ride, and I don't know if anyone knows the Guildford Prospect Reservoir. So it's a bike track that goes along the old canals there. And it was about 8 o'clock, and it was pitch black, and it's like the bush.
And hang on, it's probably worth mentioning that you actually live in one of the areas of concern at the moment. So you have got a pretty strict, you're in a pretty strict LGA.
100% we are. Yeah. So look, this is probably the safest place to exercise. It's just a bush track, right? So I was on my mountain bike, and I was talking to a good friend of mine, Chef Ellis Harwood, who we all know, who works at Rose Hill with Jerry. And all of a sudden, this big mag light comes straight on my eyes. This is just last Friday. And I go, what the hell's going on here? And it just goes, as I was going closer and closer, it was getting brighter and brighter, and I couldn't see. And then they go, pull over, police. And I go, what? And they go, look, we're not pulling you over to ask you questions. We've actually got a criminal at large in this area, and we've got the dog squad out and choppers looking for him. So we want you to turn around and go back. Anyway, I said, with all due respect, if I go back, I'm out of the LGA. So you're going to pay my fine. So they said, all right, keep riding and don't stop. So I kept riding and I didn't stop, so I'm still here today. So anyway.
It could only happen to Sam Burke. It could happen to. I mean,
like overnight in the middle of nowhere, riding your bike, minding your own business, and out of the bushes come the police. I mean, what are the chances?
And you know what he said too, Vanessa? He goes, the scent, it must have been because I was sweaty, right? The scent of you will put off the dog looking for the criminal.
I wouldn't have advertised that if I was you, Sam. I think you're going to get a bit.
Well, I'm sorry, Julie. It's the Rexona that Andrew Ballard gave me, right? So it works quite well, So.
Oh dear, too much fun.
So, tell me, Julie, we're getting back into business again.
Mm-hmm.
Something that always has intrigued me is that when we're writing recipes, and people think writing recipes is really easy. Firstly.
Ugh. No.
Yeah, explain how things can just go so wrong.
Well, it's difficult as well because you're writing recipes in different formats, because like for one of our customers at the moment, I've had to write them in consumer, food service for 10, food service for 50, and then put them in a spreadsheet and cost them out.
That's like a book.
Yeah. And it's, you can't just double the recipe, even if you've got one. You can't just double it because
Why?
Because your spices you wouldn't want to double, because then you could really overpower the dish. You've got to work out the exact amount of protein that you need that's within a healthy diet. It's a totally involved process. And you've also got to look at what your customer can obtain, can't obtain, and you've tried to keep it quite simple for those ones. You can go a little bit further with this one. So everyone is totally different. So it is quite a long process to get it all done. And then once you've done it, I read through them, and then Sam and I will go through them. And there's always something to pick up that you've made a mistake on, because you've read it so many times. And I guess in your head, because you know it, you miss things. Yep, that's right. So it's a long process.
It's just fatigue of doing the same thing.
Yeah. It's a long process.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I think as people that are so used to working in an operational space, I don't know about you guys, but I find at the moment being on the computer all the time just exhausting.
It is.
Oh, out of control. Yeah. And what's more frustrating is when you start freezing on a call, when your kids are chewing up the bandwidth on, it's just madness. We've really had to adapt, haven't we, guys?
We have really had to adapt. I mean, like, I'm going to get off this call this afternoon. I'm just going to go and have a lay down. Like, this week, I don't know. I mean, it's just been early mornings, late nights. I'm really busy, and it's just all online, all computer related.
Yeah.
It is quite, you do have to get up and walk away from it for a bit, because it can just, and as you get into the more senior years, you sort of sit here all for several hours, and then you get up and can't move. So that's a slight problem as well.
That's why I have a chiropractor.
We're very lucky, Vanessa. Our employer takes really good care of us. So the MD says that we need to be taking breaks and going out and having walks and fresh air, and making sure that we're spending time with the family. So MLA have been really, really good of looking after their employees, and I really mean that. It's we've got stretch sessions that come on in the morning, so you can stretch at your desk, at the beginning of the morning and the end of the day. We're doing cooking classes that we're hosting to our general staff once a month after work, of course. Everyone buys the ingredients, and then we do cook-alongs. It's just a fantastic place to work that really cares about its employees, and you want to give more because you're getting looked after, right?
Yeah. We had Zoom calls with some of the Olympians.
Oh, really?
Oh, it was just fantastic. So we had
since they finished the Olympics,
yeah.
or
yeah.
Oh. Did they win medals?
Yes. It's all medals.
Not that matters. I mean, just to be at the Olympics is like enough.
So we had Kate Campbell, who was my highlight because I was a swimmer, and she was just amazing. But yeah, they're all really good. So, there's things to break up your day, which is great. Gives you a bit more.
Brilliant.
Keep going.
And it's just, look, I guess what's frustrating is that you want to, and you get this, Vanessa, and you get it, Julie. We just want to help people. And when you can't help people, it's upsetting, and it's really taken a toll on Julie and I, and I'm sure you, Vanessa, that our closest colleagues are doing it very tough. And you try not to show much because you don't want to come across, you know what I mean? You want to have empathy, and because I really do feel for the people out there, because these guys are like you said yesterday, I think, or I've been watching your videos at night. So I watched Sean's last night and Anna's before, but a family, right? And I'm really enjoying what you're doing, Vanessa, and I'm calling it the way I see it, right? I love these 3 o'clock sessions. I don't get the chance to see them mostly at this time because I'm pretty much going hell for leather on video calls till 4:30 every afternoon. But I do watch them about 10 o'clock on my iPad downstairs when everyone's gone to bed. And the people that have been on and the way that you've extracted that information out has been first class. Honestly, I have really enjoyed it. So that's why I actually feel honoured to be on this, really.
Thank you. That means a lot. I think for me,
and I think I'm freezing.
You think yeah, that's okay. You don't freeze on Facebook, I don't think. Oh yeah.
No, his voice is still there, but he's just in a state of limbo.
I think, as I've said to everybody else, I mean, even with Julio yesterday, I wanted to change it up a little bit. I don't know if you've seen the session I did with Julio, but I got Peter Howard, who,
Julio,
and it just is enough to make somebody's day. And Eduardo, and the list goes on, and Melody, and just bringing people together. And I feel like that at the moment is all I can do. That's all I can do.
Fantastic. And there's so many people you could bring together, because it's like, Peter Howard.
Can I tell you, it was a bit of a shit show. I'm not going to lie. I'm trying to focus in on what Julio and Peter Howard are talking about. And I've got everyone, and I said to them, at this time, don't be any earlier. Bing, 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 bing. They're coming in. I'm just like, oh, I've got to just control this. But it turned out fine. I mean, that's the thing with these sessions. They're not polished, right? They just are.
They're real. They're real. And then you got Peter trying to work the video, and I love it. Yeah. They're real.
And then you got Melody talking. It's like you're on mute. But that's our life. That's what we're doing at the moment. It is what it is.
But Vanessa, Peter Howard to me, was the ultimate professional presenter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever watched Andrew Ballard present, but he's a very good presenter. And he learnt from Peter Howard at the age of about 14 when he was working with me out at the show. And, you can see it, that he watched and learnt from him and from Lindy Milan. And I just think he's just the most amazing man.
Can I say that, with Peter Howard, what I love about him is that he really doesn't get the influence that he's had over so many lives. He took Adam Moore and I to the theatre centre over at St. Leonard's TAFE, and he spent an entire day working with us on how to do presentations and how to speak effectively and to be able to look out at the audience. Don't be shy. He built up our confidence. He gave us the tools that we needed. I mean, he changed our life just from that aspect, let alone from a food aspect.
Yeah.
He's changed so many people's lives.
I'll tell you about Peter. So back at Spotless, I used to do masterclasses. And as you know, Vanessa, you used to do many with me to our staff. And Peter Howard came in and did one with Stuart White. If Stuart is a good friend of ours, and he did it on avocados. And he must have known what the future for Sam Burke was, because at the end of his presentation, he looped back into me, and a package came to Spotless head office, and it was a Peter Howard barbecue cookbook. And he says, "You're a meat man," and he goes, "Take this and read it." And where am I today? Like, what a futurist, mate. It's like, that's Peter Howard for you,
Yes, I really think that there's a lot to be said to surround yourself with people that don't take on board what they have to say, because I could sit with Peter Howard all day. I think he's amazing.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah, and while we're talking about deliveries, let's have a bit of a fun recollection of a story, right? So going back to my days at Spotless, when Adam Moore was the corporate chef of Arnott's Campbell's, I always used to take the piss out of him about those orange slices. I said, do the world a favour. If you're going to do anything as a corporate chef, piss off the orange slices and chuck a few more Kingstons and Monte Carlos in the assorted creams, because they're dreadful. Every biscuit station you go to, there's the orange slices always being there untouched, right? So next thing, I get a call from Margaret at reception at Spotless, and I came out of my office and I went to the front, And I was the only person who had an office, and it wasn't because of my seniority, it's because I talked so loud. So they gave me an office to keep me away from everyone at the workstations. So anyway, I walked to the front, and there was a package from Adam Moore. And I go, oh, this is good. What's he done? So I took it back and unopened it. It was a carton of orange slices. So I said, you bugger, right? So I ended up going around the office handing out all these orange slices because I'm saying I'm not taking any of these home. They're rubbish, you know. Anyway, I gave it to our head accountant at the time. And I had a company, Holden Captiva, and at Spotless, we used to have the car park in the middle of the building. So you'd have floors above, floors at bottom, and everyone's company cars were in the middle. So what the accountant done, he went and crushed all the orange slices and mixed them up with hot water and made a slurry and then packed them in my company car at the window near the windscreen. So the next day, that was a Friday. So the next Saturday, I was down at Maryland's getting my hair cut, number one, you know, a bit of a flat top on the top. And as I came out, I see all these miner birds all over my car, crapping all over my car. Like hundreds of miner birds, not 10, 7, right? And they were all eating the slurry of the orange slice that was packed down the window of my company car. And I think Adam Moore had something to do with it as well. So
I'm sure he did.
Yeah. So
yeah, I bet he did too. I bet he did too, Sam.
It's quite a story that we bring up all the time, Adam. And
it's a lot of Adam Moore stories.
Yeah.
So I've got one here. This is a sign. It's back to front when you look at it. But Adam gave this to me when I was at Cerebos with him, and it says...
It's actually not back to front.
Oh, isn't it? You can see it properly?
Yeah.
Yep, that's my Adam Moore sign.
Hey, I'll be back in 10 minutes. But if I'm not, just read the message again.
Don't you love it?
Is that because he used to go walkabout?
Love him.
That's
the guy's got a heart of gold.
I used to say to people at Cerebos, I don't get it. He's not quiet. He's like Sam. They're not quiet. How on earth does he disappear? I never got an answer. I've never worked it out.
I love the way that him and Sam get in their little tips. It makes me laugh so much. It's like watching two brothers.
Mm.
Yeah. Look, he's a good guy, and actually, one of the things that Adam did for me, he purchased a West Jersey for me, and it was quite a big one.
Yeah.
Right? Probably even, I think it was a 4XL and I'm a 2XL. So I put it on, and it was a bit big for me. So I said, I'll leave this one in the cupboard. And when Dad passed away, I actually wore it at his when I was doing his eulogy.
Yeah.
And buried the old man with that. So, it's kind of, it's just those things that you have from those industry friends like yourself and Julie and Adam and, people on the line here, Anna Jane, Sean Cunnington, Sonia, there's just so many people that I call family in this industry, and it's the best job in the world, not just with MLA, being part of this network that we have, and
it is an awesome network.
Treasure it. I think we need to treasure it.
It is an awesome network. It is an awesome network. And
and like I said, people like yourself and Julie and Adam have got more connections than a bucket of Lego. That's my favorite saying, but it's very true.
I tell you what, I love watching your videos, Sam.
Yeah, well, that's something I started with my daughters when I was quite young. The cooking videos in the backyard. So when they were young, they were pretty good, and it was just a way that I could connect with my kids, and at the same time, just bring people into my home and show them my passion for Sam Burke, not Sam Burke the meat man. Sam Burke, what he loves to do, which is coincidentally cook barbecue on the weekend. So,
but isn't it amazing? What's that?
On one of the many barbecues.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty exciting. I just think it's amazing just to go over there just to have a look at the barbecues. But isn't it amazing how many good memories we all share and we all have that's been brought together by food?
Oh, very much so. And isn't it good to pass it down? I took my grandson to Sam's, and they were doing a lamb thing there, big lamb on the, what's that cross called?
It's Sardo cross. Cross. Yep.
And Archie just thought it was the best thing. So I'm picking Archie up, the kids up the other day, and their mum says, you've got to stop doing things. He thinks I can do all of that at home. And I keep explaining to him that I'm not a chef. I'm a mother and a teacher. And I said, oh, yeah, but you're a reasonable cook. And she said, yes, but I can't do the lamb on the cross. And he can't do the lamb on the cross because it's his favourite thing. I said, oh, I'm so sorry, Danella. No, you can't. I can't do that, Archie. But it's good to pass down those sort of experiences that the experiences that we've had, it's just.
Do you reckon any of your girls will go into chefing, Sammy?
Sorry, Vanessa, I lost that. I'm buffering. Kids are still on the thing. Say that again.
I said, do you think that any of your girls will go into chefing or into hospitality in any way?
Oh, will they go into chefing? Well, no, probably not. Probably not.
Oh, he's buffered again.
I've lost you again. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's all right. I think it's the afternoon when all the kids get out off their home, they're online, they all start streaming the bloody video games.
I'm about to be inundated with 3 little ones at some stage.
Oh, you got all the grandkids this weekend?
Yes.
Oh, that's exciting. And tell me, Jules, how do you...
Hey, guys, I might try and log in through my computer. My iPad, because I've lost you.
Right.
Let me come back on.
So tell me all the goss on Sam while he's not here. No, I'm just joking.
He'll be back very soon. No, there is.
But what I actually love about you and Sam is that Sam's amazing at what he does, but you guys make a fantastic team, and I love the way, Jules, that you always have his back.
Always.
And he yours. But we've done the vlogs here, and we've done some cooking and so forth, and just the way you're just incredible, the amount of energy you have.
I don't know where that comes from, but I just like being busy all the time.
Yeah.
I'd go insane if I was at home and not working.
I never forget when you came to my house and we parked the car out the front and it was rolling. Do you remember that, Sammy?
What's that? I'm back.
You're back, and that's better. Remember when you guys came to my house and Jules parked the car and we're at the back of the car unpacking it and the car was rolling?
Yes.
It's kind of like you got to put it into park, Jules.
Yeah. Hey, I think I hadn't had it long. It was my son's car and it was a manual, and I was just getting back used to driving a manual.
That's right. Mazda.
Yeah.
So what are you guys doing on the weekend?
Well, there's not a lot you can do these days, but we'll probably take the grandkids for a bushwalk, go to the beach, take them for a swim, do a bit of cooking with them.
What about you, Sammy? What are you going to do?
Oh, so we've got Mum and Dad's 50th anniversary tonight. So at 6 o'clock, we're all getting back on Teams. And we're going to have what Dad used to love, a Chinese takeaway meal, and cornettos for dessert, and then get on and wish Mum a happy anniversary for my sisters. So, and then I'll actually something else is happening, but in case she's watching, I'll just stop there, So.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Don't let the cat out of the bag there, Sammy.
They'll kill me.
Yeah, don't be going giving anything away. Well, congratulations to your mum and dad. 50 years is an incredible milestone. It's a shame that he's not here to see it. But I'm sure he would be watching down and be very proud.
Very proud.
Yeah, look, what we had planned was a cruise for the whole family, including Dad. We were planning to go on the P&O cruise, because but that didn't eventuate. But look, these things happen in life. I'm very blessed for the time I did spend with my dad. I know you're in the same boat. We both have gone through this year, and Julie has lost her father as well. I think they're great men that were very instrumental in our life, and you have your days, right? You know, and then you have your good days, you know, where you can reflect back and have a chuckle when a song comes on. And Julie's been, and yourself, Vanessa, you've been very good friends and helped me get through this. And you know, and things will get easier. And it's just hard at the moment, because I think what we all want to do when we get out of this eventually is just give each other a hug, have that human
Very much so.
again. You know, it's and I'm really looking forward to it. I really am. You know, I'm looking forward to giving someone a hug and going out there and cooking and being with people. And you don't realise how much that interaction with people, you know, is valued in your life until you lose it, right? So,
I just hope that we come back and we all do appreciate it and we all do respect that as well.
100%.
You know, I just hope that when we all come back and we can all get together again, you know, we all remember how to be real and just to be kind and to care about each other and actually really care about each other. Yeah,
100%. It needs it. There's too much negativity in the world at the moment. So, you know, we need to be positive, you know.
It's actually, you know, it was nice to see today that it looks like we'll at least be able to get to spend Christmas with our families. I mean, you know, that was kind of probably a major concern. I don't know, I'd imagine for everybody.
Of course.
It's just every day I can't, you know, I look at the clock and go, oh, it's 1:15 Gladys. And then I think, no, I can't turn it on.
And I guess, like you said, Jules and Vanessa, the hard thing for me is, right, yeah, we can control it as adults, right? And you go out and you go on your bike ride and you cool down. I'm dying like you guys on at a haircut. You've got the old smother happening here today. But what frustrates me being a parent is seeing your kid, your 10-year-old, not being for friends at the park and doing that kind of stuff that we could do anytime. Hopscotch, backyard cricket, riding bikes, elastics, you know that kind of stuff. The kids are talking to each other through iPads, and that's if you want to know what's hurt me the most, it's that interaction not seeing your kids having. And you know, and Isabella, my youngest, is forged a career in hospitality at McDonald's, and yes, it's probably a risk for her to go to an LGA, the worst LGA, and work on the front line. But you know what? That one day a week where she does 4 hours in McDonald's, she begs for it because she has human interaction and social interaction. So I'll roll the dice and allow her to do that as a parent.
Yeah, it's a hard one. It's you know, look, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
You know, the what was the messaging today was, and this is supposed to be a fun you know, session, but you know, one of the things that did come out today is that we are looking at another 6 weeks of what we are currently going through. So fingers crossed that'll be it. You know, we'll all be vaccinated, or the majority will be vaccinated. We just can pick up life and get on with it.
100%.
That'll be exciting, right? And we'll all be able to come together, and we're all going to have paella at Vanessa's, or paella.
We'll get a brisket on at Burkey's,
and a brisket, and we can put the lamb on your cross thing. I don't care. I'm happy to chuck it all out there.
Oh, mate.
I tell you what, I think I've said it on every session so far this week. But James, did I tell you about James Bilingual texting me?
Yeah.
Oh my lordy Claudy. He dropped me around the most beautiful brisket.
What a great guy.
Oh, I tell you, it was superb. It even had the ring of fire on it. Like, it was just
smoke
to
ring.
die for.
Good on him. No, the guy knows his meat, and he's really passionate about it too. Like, I first met James when he was an operations manager at Compass, and he was telling me about the maple bacon that he makes on the weekend, and that was way back before Burger Hounds, you know. But he's a wonderful gentleman and a family man as well.
Yeah, him and Julio are very good friends as well, and they've always done their little concoctions together, whatever that may be. They make their different They smoke their different meats and cure their different meats, and yeah, they have fun together doing that stuff.
Well, Julio's got a tandoor oven. He always talks to me about an Indian tandoor oven. He does his own breads and that too. So he's a bit like us, you know, just loves to experiment on the weekend.
Oh, well, he'll have to just bring that around my house as well, and we'll add that into the mix.
Definitely.
We've got a country club here.
I love it. I remember that. I parked down there. It was beautiful.
But do you know what? Having said that, last year we were renting a place out near Arcadia and out near Glenorrhea, where they just had that bloody big snake at Woolworth. And it was one of the game farm houses that we were renting, because we were deciding on where we wanted to buy. And I'm so thankful that we were out there last year during the lockdown phase. It just didn't seem to affect us as much as what it has this year. And I don't know whether it's because we're kind of a lot more condensed this year. I'm not too sure, but yeah. Yeah. Look,
we'll get there, guys. We'll get there. But mate, look, discussions like this just bring a smile to your face, you know. Speaking to two lovely ladies that I love, and you know what I mean. It's just Vanessa. Let me tell you about Vanessa and I. Jules, we go back way back. So Vanessa used to be our key.
Not that far back. We're only still youngsters.
Yeah.
Nice, Sam.
Was
Don't divulge a woman's age, okay?
Yeah, 100%. But Vanessa was my.
Where are you going, Jules?
Manager.
Just going to my oven to check on the banana cake.
Because that's what you do in the middle of every Zoom call.
Yeah, 100%. She's got the grandkids coming over this weekend, Vanessa. So I get it. You know,
they'll be here shortly, and banana cake's one of their favourites. So you know, you've got to.
You got to keep the
Perfect.
truth.
The banana cake is ready. Oh, the pizza dough's looking good. Yep, we're all set.
Fantastic. So let me go back to Vanessa, right? So I met Vanessa. She was our key account manager at Top Cut, and did a lot of good work with Glenn Flood and I across red meat education, right? So Vanessa was teaching us about all things beef, lamb, veal, goat, and pork, right? With Spotless. So we forged a good friendship there. We did a lot of masterclasses today there, and actually Vanessa used to bring Doug in, and Claire is another good friend of mine who did Julie and my job back in the day at MLA, and we stayed good friends.
Beautiful.
Yeah, 100%. And I never forget when I left Spotless after 20 years, there was two suppliers that took me out, right? It was Paula, Andrade, and Manuel from Just Delicious Juices.
Yeah.
And they took me to Sylvia's or Frango's Chicken, and we had a good Portuguese feast there. And the second was Vanessa Barnes and Mitch and Kylie.
We went down to Botanist down at Currabilly.
And Mitch, and I remember Mitch and Kylie and Vanessa was still Top Cut at the time, and they said, well, this is the last time we'll be in a room together, so let's order up, you know. So I used to be a big pork star attendee up until that date, but it was you know, I'll never forget those things, and they're just great things to reflect on, you know, about how we've evolved, and even when Vanessa was at APL, you know, we'd be competitive proteins, but after work we'd always be talking to each other and you know, helping each other out where we could.
I think that you were probably one of the first people I rang when I got the job at APL, and
I was in London.
You were overseas.
I was in London. Yeah,
you were overseas, and I texting and ringing, and I'm like, I really need to speak to you. I need to talk to you. Just so you know.
No, Vanessa gave me a call, and I was doing a function in a kitchen in Holborn, Australia House in London, and I took it outside, and we were talking through Facebook Messenger, and I go, gloves are off, Vanessa. So no, it was all good. It was all good, but we did. Look, in all honesty, we took you going there very seriously, because we knew how networked you were, and Julie and I knew that we had a fierce competitor that had a lot of networks, and we've got you know, unashamedly, we've got a role to promote red meat, and we had to be on our game. Yeah, so
I just wish that I had a budget as big as what you guys had.
Don't worry, our budget's not big. Not maybe other parts of MLA, but
We do most of what we do on a shoestring.
You want to talk about shoestrings? I had a shoestring. I actually had a lace.
Well, we've got the mouse running underneath the bonnet eating the cheese.
Do you know what though? Having said that, isn't it incredible what you can achieve when you don't have a lot?
Well, I guess the skill that Julie and I provide, Vanessa, is that consult, if you like, to food service, which is not monetary. You know, would you say that's right, Julie?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to me how many people don't put the importance of the weight that a relationship can carry.
Yep.
That's very important.
Yeah, and a lot of I find that a lot of people just don't see that as being important at all.
100%, 100%. And I guess you know, when you prove to people you can do the job and you get called back again, that's when things get better. But yeah, look, you've got to be creative with what you do, and Julie and I, unashamedly, we've got a never say die approach. You know, when COVID hit, I remember talking to Julie on the balcony, and I said, look, we can have the cleanest desktops in the industry, or you know, and have the best bookkeeping, or we can come out swinging and give it a red hot go. And in 1 year, we produced 60 videos, 8 webinars, and 70 recipes for industry. And I'm very proud of that. And I couldn't have done it without Julie. Yeah, so.
That is actually really impressive. I can appreciate how much work that is. That's really, really impressive.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm loving the videos, actually. I'm loving the master classes. And
thank you.
And I'd actually never heard of reverse sear. So, you know what? You taught me something. Do you want to talk about it? We've got another 2 minutes. So do you want to tell us about reverse sear?
Yeah, so what reverse searing is actually reverse cooking the meat. So what you do is on your barbecue, you put it on the opposite side to the heat. You put a probe in it and you bring it up to the degree of doneness you want. So say if it's medium rare, I'd say, or even 48 degrees, which is rare, right? Celsius. And then on the opposite side of the barbecue, you crank that heat really hard. And then you douse it with your oil and your sea salt. And then you finish it off with a hot sear, like really hot. And then there's no need to rest it because you've cooked it already inside like a dry sous vide, and then serve it immediately to your customer. So it's a thing that originated in Texas, around in the US. And it's just it's very similar to sous vide, if you like, but dry sous vide. That's the best way to explain it, you know, and it's a way to increase yield too, because you know if you cook at a high heat, any chef will tell you this, you lose more water out of the protein. So if you cook slowly, you retain that moisture and retain that waste and weight. And when you're talking to a commercial caterer that's cooking 3 by 20 tray combis full of roast beef, if you teach them how to slow cook it, you can maximize yield to up to 30%, which is big dollars. You know.
That's so impressive. I mean, we had Sean Cunnington on during the week, and you know, they're like the technology in their ovens and so forth is just incredible. Yeah. Some of these ovens, you're losing minimal yield. Yeah,
we've got the Vario and we've got the Unox Chef Top at MLA, and they're great units. Unbelievable.
We had the Unox, the big one at Cerebos as well. So that's where I first started using it. Fantastic.
The beautiful things about these combis, and it doesn't have to be Unox, to be all the brands, they've got these self-cleaning things now. So you put a tablet or you put in some liquid and you press the button and you walk away and it cleans itself. Like, do you remember the old days when we were in kitchens, guys, and we had to scrub the oven out at the end of the day? You know? Unbelievable.
Not really. I actually never did that. I always made sure I left money in the budget for that one.
Yeah. Well, I had to do it. We used the caustic soda by Peerless. It was called Champ, and I had still got the OH&S wasn't too good back in the 80s, the 90s, and you'd spray this caustic soda on your grill, and there was no face mask. You take a deep breath, hold your breath, and scrape the grill, and then finish it with water, and then you could breathe again. I was breathing in caustic.
That is so dangerous. You know, they used to clean out the beer things and stuff with the caustic soda as well.
Yeah.
And then there was one patient I nursed when I was a nurse, and it was a husband and wife, and they'd come from Canberra, cut a long story short, see their daughter off overseas, stayed in a little hotel somewhere in Sydney, had a wine, he had a beer, tasted a bit funny, whatever, they had the same, and then she drank a bit less, he drank more. Both ended up in hospital with their esophagus in a very bad way.
I've heard of that happening a couple of times. That's really bad.
Very much.
Look, thank God with OH&S is a lot more safer now. You can only maximum 10 kilos carrying around the kitchen. I remember, and we can talk war stories all night, but I remember emptying hot oil into pots, and draining the fryers out and cleaning them at the end of the day. But, it's just, the industry's come a long way, and safety is very important, and that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, my little possums, it's been an absolute pleasure. And we'll have to talk more, Julie, about the fact that you were a nurse. I didn't even know that. You chucked that one in when we're already over time.
She resuscitated me a few times when I've been knocked out in the kitchen.
Do you know what, though? It's absolutely amazing to me, just the diversity in this industry and what the backstory for people is.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Like Julio, he was going to be an accountant.
That was a really good
see that
Julio the other day.
It's unbelievable, It's like one of the first things I normally would
I didn't know Julio came from Egypt. How good is that?
I know.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I just find this I just learned so much about people. I'm like an Esme Watson.
Yeah.
Online, like the online Esme Watson.
Anyway,
you could call it an hour of power with Esme Watson.
I could. I actually haven't named them anything because they're just. I feel like I just want to keep them just as is. Like they're just no expectation. Because if I go into them with expectation, it always ends up different anyway. So it's just like no expectation. We'll take it wherever it goes and just have a really nice chat. But I have loved today. And I love you guys so much.
Been awesome.
And to you too. Yeah,
really miss you, and I can't wait to see you. And happy anniversary for your mum and dad, Sammy.
Yep. Yeah, thanks. I'll get the old sweet and sour pork, Mongolian lamb, and beef and black bean happening. The Savo. So keep it neutral across. Beautiful. Keep it neutral across all proteins. Might even get a bit of salt and pepper squid too. So anyway,
that's beautiful. And enjoy the grandkiddies, Julie.
Yes, I can hear them out there running right.
Oh, really? All right. We're going to let you go. Go and say hello to them. Bye, guys. Stay safe.
Stay
safe.
Tune into Food Logic, everyone. Take care.
Much love. Bye.
Bye.